Luxray Beats.
All right, what's going on, Matrix? How you guys doing? White Dragon 1987 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming to you with another episode of Matrix Unplugged. I got my man PB the God. What's going on, Pepe?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Good, man. Good, man. All right, you guys. So we're going to try to keep this one short. We've got an advance coming at 9 o'clock, but we've got a lot of things to go through. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. First thing, we need to get the updated league administrators out there. We had a little bit of changes from last season. So the commissioners, you're going to have Alpha Male for now to you, Mad Cow Disease with the Texans, Kendall with the Chiefs, and then myself with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The graphics media team, that's going to be the Bucks and Colts. And then the trade committee has had a big update. So the primary members of the trade committee are now Raluno with the Seahawks, Bizzleby 1992 with the Falcons, and PB the God with the Colts. So if you guys are trying to make trades, if you guys have offers and stuff like that, you need to screenshot the agreement of the trade and all the parameters, all that good stuff to the Seahawks, the Falcons, or the Colts preferably. If you can't get a hold of them, you can reach out to the three alternates. That's going to be myself, White Dragon, Kendall with the Chiefs, or Euro Roadkill with the Bills. He is the new alternate, Roadkill 223. And then we've got our transaction trackers. Just another quick breakdown right here. These are the trade committee members, Seahawks, Falcons, Colts, and there's the alternates. All right, moving on to the league funds. So I want to make sure that we have an update so you guys know how much money we've got and what we're using it for. We promised everybody we would pay $50 per season to the Super Bowl winner, $10 a season to the MVP. We had a $120 starting pot before this season. The Buffalo Bills won the first Super Bowl. They got $50. They also won the MVP, so they got $10. After that, I donated $10 to the league, and then the Bills donated his MVP winnings, which puts us at $80. So right now we have an $80 pot. If you guys can, reach out, throw $5, $10, $20, $50, $100 whenever you can. All that helps out, so everybody's got something to play for. It kind of gives us more incentive to keep pushing. This is the tentative upcoming schedule, you guys. Right now we're in the middle of a vote for the draft. I'll be honest, it's really tight. I think it's like 6 votes to 5 votes to 7 votes. You can change your vote, so maybe with this quick explanation that Peyton and I are about to give you, that might get you to change your vote and kind of see things differently. So right now until 9 p.m. tonight, you're in player re-signing period. I've helped a lot of you guys. I've fucking blown up y'all's phones with Gordle alerts, letting you guys know, hey, hit me up if you have a problem. After 9 o'clock, if your team's messed up, that's on you. We've had 24 hours. I've told you guys I'll help you. I made myself really available. After that, sorry, it is what it is. So player re-signing will end at 9 p.m. We'll go straight into free agency stage 1. All right, so you'll be in free agency stage 1 from 9 p.m. tonight until approximately 12 p.m. tomorrow. At 12 p.m. tomorrow, we're going to go ahead and advance to free agency stage 2. And then at 6 p.m., maybe a little bit later depending on what time the draft starts, but approximately 6 p.m., this is what we're going to go with right now, we're going to advance to free agency stage 3. There technically is a free agency stage 4, but all it does is tell you who received what, so we're just going to skip over that one after we get to it because there's nothing to do in stage 4. So after stage 3, we'll go straight into the draft. We've got the vote up right now whether the draft is going to be 7, 8:30, or 10 o'clock. And Peyton, I want you to give me a hand with this one. We're going to let people know the pros and cons of each time at 7, 8:30, and 10 o'clock. You guys got to remember, there's 32 people in this league, all right? You have some people who will physically be at work at a certain time. You have some people that have to be in bed at a certain time to get up to work the next morning. If you guys take a look at the times, obviously pick what works best for you, but also think about other guys who may not be able to draft. If we draft at 7 o'clock, we got some West Coast guys who are still going to be at work and won't even be able to draft. We also got a lot of guys who maybe are on the East Coast, they work morning shift, they may not even physically be in front of their system at that time. 8:30 is kind of a sweet spot. I think that you can catch people of all different time zones and everything. I know 10 p.m. will also work as well. However, you got some people that got to work the next morning. I kind of like 10 p.m. the best. That's not what I can't remember what I voted for, but I like 10 p.m. the best because everybody should be at their house at 10 p.m. Now, whether or not you're going to have to stay up a little bit extra, or whether or not you're West Coast and that's around dinner time, I do think that 10 p.m. we would have the most people actually sitting in front of the screen. However, I'm sure you guys have seen sometimes these drafts take about an hour and a half or 2 hours, so I don't want people having to stay up till midnight for no reason. But just take a look at the draft times, kind of see what other people have voted. If you guys want to kind of maybe get into the chat and, talk to each other. But that vote's going to end in like an hour or two, and we're going to go with whatever we have, all right? Peyton, what's your point? Can you make any different points with the times, the 7, 8:30, 10 o'clock with the draft?
Yeah, for the most part, we try to put it out and see what works for everybody. For majority, like if majority of people are picking a certain time, that's majority that's going to work, I guess, for most people, and that's just the percentage of what's going to go on, or the majority of what people can work around that. If you can't draft or whatever was going on for whatever reason, you're at dinner or you're out or whatever, just set up your draft board and for like the most of whatever you need, and I feel like that's going to go with whatever you need based on your draft board if you're not even be able to draft or if you got picks or whatever's going on.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I was in a Crossfire League a couple of years ago, and I wasn't able to draft, so I was at work, and I set my draft board up in order of who I wanted and all that stuff, and that was actually one of the best drafts that I have ever had because, I didn't get caught up in the moment of, oh, this guy fell, and, oh, I need to reach for this guy. I set my draft board, and the computer picked a really good squad for me. I think I ended up with 2 superstars and 2 star trait guys on a computer-driven draft, so I was pretty happy with that. So if you guys cannot draft, trade your draft picks away for next year's draft picks, trade them away for other players, or set up your draft board. But please understand, if you set that draft board up in order, it works very well, and it's going to draft whoever you want in that order. And then, to be honest, you guys, too, once you get past round 3, there's not really many guys in there. You might find an occasional fast guy or strong guy you could maybe build, but it's going to be pretty much those first 3 rounds that matter. And then we're going to kick off sometime on Thursday. Will be regular season kickoff after we have the draft. Think about this, too. If we have the draft late at 10 o'clock at night, we are not going to go ahead and advance all the way to the next season because you'll have some people that are trying to sleep. Some people got to go to work. I do at least want to give people the opportunity to set their training or, all that good stuff, kind of make any position changes they need to. So we are not going to jump straight from the draft immediately into the next season. There's going to be a small little pause to try to figure out, what's going to be a good pace for preseason and all that stuff. But that's pretty much it. And this may change, you guys. This is just the best schedule that we can do right now that works for everybody. Moving on, Pepe and I were going to give you guys some tips. So we've been trying to help out as many people as we can, and we really want to keep the same 32 people. We don't want to keep having new users each season, each Madden. We want to keep the same guys for the most part, so we want to help you out. So a lot of you guys are making some mistakes when it comes to being a GM and your salaries and your contracts. Although we gave that 1 free cap penalty clear after the first season, you guys got to be big boys now, so we want to teach you how to handle those things and deal with your penalties. So the first thing you guys need to know how to do is getting to the salary screen, all right? Just being good on the sticks, isn't really going to do much for you and your team. So make sure you go to the My Team tab right here. I knew you were going to jump on me, Peyton, but I guess you have me muted. I was waiting for it. But make sure you go to the My Team tab and then click on Salaries, all right? After you guys do that, I know there's going to be a lot of numbers and a lot of money on this page, but the most important things are, if you look at the top, the cap space and what is your cap penalty. Everybody's got a 0 cap penalty, compliments of Matrix Madden League, as of right now. Moving forward, after this next advance, whatever trades you guys make, whoever you guys cut, whoever you guys sign, you're going to be responsible for that contract, all right? If you fuck your team up, you screw your team up, nobody else. You're not going to get any help. You're not going to get any cap clears. We're not going to fix any contracts. It is what it is. So you've got to learn these things, all right? Some of you guys have reached out to me, hey, man, can you trade me Devin White? Can you trade me this player or that player? And I say no. Well, I'm not being a dick. It's because of the cap penalty that goes with it. So if you look right here on the screen, I have an arrow next to savings. If you guys are trying to save some cap space and you guys are trying to make some moves to clear up some issues with your team, you want to try to trade away guys that have the biggest savings but the smallest penalty. So I have this arranged by savings. So if you look on the screen right now, J.J. Watt, if I were to trade him away, I would actually save $17.5 million and get 0 in a penalty. Now let's arrange it by penalty. So a lot of you guys asked me about sending you Shaq Barrett. Well, the answer is no, because if I trade him away, I'm going to get a $26.5 million cap penalty. And a lot of you guys don't understand what that means, so let me break it down to you. So most people look at to the right where it says 2021, 2022 at how much money he makes a year, which is 15.7 and then 16.5. That's how much he makes a year, but whenever you sign a player, you sign them to salary and or a signing bonus. Whether you trade or cut that player away, whatever you guaranteed them in a signing bonus, you are going to have to cover that. So if I trade away Shaq Barrett, that means that, yes, I'm not going to have to pay him that salary, but all of that money in bonus, I'm still paying him, and it still counts against my salary cap. So if you look at Shaq Barrett, if I were to trade him away, I would actually lose $10.8 million in cap space. So if you look at the top where it says $29.5 million in cap space, that would go from 29.5 to like $18 million if I trade him away. So that would be the dumbest thing I could possibly do. And that matters if you trade somebody away or if you cut them. So make sure that if you guys are going to go sign people in free agency, you want to sign them to a contract that's straight salary, no bonus. Because if you sign somebody to a big bonus and trade them away, you're going to ruin your franchise, and I've seen people destroy some teams. You got anything you want to add about the penalties and stuff like that, Peyton, as far as cap?
Just be smart with the trades, honestly. If you see a guy has a big contract and he has no cap penalty and you want to get rid of him, I would try to either get rid of him or cut him and just save a shit ton of money and try to get another player maybe you really want, or in the future a guy with a young contract. So it just kind of depends on what you want to do or how you want to move, depending if you can have the cap penalties or not, debating on like your contracts on with your team. I would just really pay attention to see what guys are coming up, if they need like big contracts or if they have contracts coming up. Just kind of keep that in mind when re-signing and stuff like that as far as trades.
Absolutely. And, you guys, there are literally some players on your team where it would make absolutely no reason for you to cut them because it would destroy your team. Let's say, right here, Tom Brady. He's only an 83 overall, so he's not that great anymore. He's old. He's 44. But if I were to trade him away or cut him, that would cost me $24.5 million in cap penalty. So that would take away $24 million in my cap space. So that is absolutely not a good decision. So I'm going to have to ride with him until that contract expires. So when free agency opens up, don't start throwing these dumbass offers out here to people and then y'all try to trade them away 2 years down the road. It's going to ruin your franchise. So pay attention to stuff like that, you guys, especially now that we've got a season under our belts. The trade committee is going to start paying a little bit more attention to things like this because we don't want to let you destroy a team and then we can't fill that team back up. So if you guys look right now, I give a lot of my guys guaranteed money. I'm loyal to my players. So Barrett, Godwin, Tom Brady, Gronk, White, Wirfs, they're not going anywhere because it would actually destroy my team and make no sense to trade them. I literally can't trade them because of the cap penalty. Another thing that I want to go over, some of you idiots don't know how to sign your players, all right? Free agency is the time to try to get deals. But when you are re-signing your players, if you want to keep that player, you better offer and pay the man what he's asking for or give him more. This is not the time to nickel and dime people, all right? This is not the time to think you're going to catch a fucking hometown discount. If you look right here, Nickel Roby Coleman, all right? It says a fair offer is $8.06 million in total. That's a one-year salary of $4.59 and a signing bonus of $3.47. Peyton, it says fair offer. Does it say he will guaranteed accept that offer?
No.
It absolutely does not. Well, what are some ways you guys can help that? Number one, go look at that player's traits, and you can see if he has the predictability trait when it comes to his contract. If it's predictable, then he's more likely to accept the offer that's close to this fair. If it's unpredictable or there's nothing there, you're going to have to overpay. Now is not the time to get a discount, you guys. I can't stress that enough. In free agency, that's where you can try to nickel and dime old guys that nobody wants and they don't really have another option if nobody else made an offer. But If you want to keep your players, you're going to have to pay them. It is the way it is. Moving forward, we're not going to be helping anybody with stuff like that. Pay your players if you want them. If not, they're going to walk. So please understand that. I know, for example, Nickel Roby Coleman, what I did was I just wanted him to get on my team, and then I thought I might trade him down the road. So what I did was, instead of offering him an $8 million deal with 4.5 and the regular salary, 3.5 and a bonus, I offered him like $8 million in salary and only $1 million in a bonus. So I actually gave him $1 million more than he wanted, but if I trade him away, it's only going to cost me $1 million in a cap penalty. So think about things like that, you guys. You got to be more than just good at playing Madden. You got to start thinking about, how do I be a good GM? How do I build a good team? I'm definitely not the best Madden player in here, but I am going to try to put the best team on the field. I'll damn sure do that. Anything you want to add about making offers to your players, Pepe?
Honestly, when you're trading away your players, honestly, I'll try to get a fair deal. Unless you feel like that player is, if it's a high power player and you can get more, I wouldn't really settle. Honestly, I would trade and see what you can get for him. But like, if it's an older player and he only has like 2, 3, 4 years max, I wouldn't really try to. Not too many people are going to really overpay for him, if it makes sense in a sense.
Right.
Because, like, why would I, why would I trade something that's going to be good for the rest of the franchise for something that's going to last me a couple of years, and then I have to redraft or restart basically from scratch?
Absolutely. And you guys got to think about the long run. We're not playing one season here. We usually go pretty deep. Pause. We're hoping for 6 or 7, maybe 8 seasons. So if you guys have a player that's 30, 31, 32, 35 years old, yes, he might be a superstar with really good traits, might be a 90 overall. However, he's going to retire in a year. Well, if you're able to get a draft pick and a guy that's like an 82 overall or 79 overall that's young, like 23, 24, 25, in about 2 or 3 years, that guy should be in the upper 80s, and you got to use that player every single one of those years. So I just don't want somebody to get LeBron. I know I told that to somebody I was trading with earlier, but don't get LeBron, all right? Don't get so caught up in a guy and he's not doing anything for you, and you end up just keeping him, you don't use him, and he does nothing for your franchise. You always got to be thinking. And he
gets no better.
Absolutely. Once you guys have players that get up to 29 or 30, they're done as far as progression. Actually, really, progression stops at like 28. So there is no getting better. There is no building that player, stuff like that. If you get these players while they're 23, 24, maybe 25, you can turn them into the player you want. They might only be like let's say if it's a corner, he's only like an 89 speed. Well, if you get him while he's 23 or 24, you can focus on the man-to-man coverage, and you might get that speed up to 92 in a couple of seasons. So you got to think about the long run, you guys. Stop thinking about today and tomorrow. There's only one Super Bowl champion, and we'll get to that later on. And if you're not the Super Bowl champion, what was the point? All right, so always think about that next year. Think about that next year, because you may not win it all. Moving on, the next thing we want to go over is coaching XP. So a lot of you guys don't understand how to do the coaching XP, and you're really screwing yourself in the foot, if that makes any sense. Screwing yourself in the foot, shooting yourself in the foot, whatever it is. Doing something. You're screwing or shooting something, all right? So we want to teach you guys how to make your team better as far as the coaching XP. So you're going to want to go to the team page, click on My Coach, click on Spend Coaching XP, and then it's going to bring up 3 different options right here. You have player acquisition, player retention, and player progression. Well, what does all this mean? Well, if you look in the top right-hand corner, My Coach has 6,325 XP. If you never go to this screen, you've got all these damn points and upgrades that you're never using. So you're getting the short end of the stick. So you want to make sure that you beef your coach up. You win different types of awards. You get your coaching goals so that you can make your team better. So, for example, Expert Scouting is 1,330 XP. I could use part of my bank up there, the 6,300, and I could be Expert Scout. So each week you would get 200 scouting points instead of 175. The biggest tip I can give you is do not spend your XP on Master Trade Negotiator. That only works on the computer, all right? It's not like I can go
Imagine
up to Peyton.
using that shit at 32 man. That's some dumb shit.
I can't go up to Peyton and say, I've got Master Trade Negotiator. You must accept this trade. It don't work like that, guys, all right? So please don't be a dummy and go purchase this. If you already did, I'm sorry. We got some crayons for you. We'll email them to you. But
I'll
do
order some
not
sheets of paper or some fucking outlines and some shit.
do not waste your XP on Master Trade Negotiator. All right. So there's player acquisition, player retention, player progression. If you know that you're trying to acquire some players in free agency in the off season, you might want to hang on to your XP and then see what players are there. Then you go purchase that and then go after that player. Gee, it looks like the White Dragon might be doing that because he's got 6,300 XP and he's yet to use it. I'm going to wait and see what's in the fucking free agency.
Let me add to that right quick. So just because I'm going to go ahead and say this. So I had a left tackle that was a 38-year-old left tackle. I said I'm going to use my points. I'm going to put it toward his retention or regression or whatever and bring him back a year. Just because you use your points and try to put it toward a specific category, it does not work sometimes because I put my guy to bring him back 1 year and he's still retired.
Absolutely. It's not guaranteeing anything, you guys. It's just increasing the likelihood. So right here, if you were to buy on the screen right here, if you were to go to quarterback re-sign influence and you purchase that, that means that when you go to re-sign your quarterback, they're more likely to accept your contract offer. Notice we didn't say they're more likely to accept an offer of like $5. Doesn't mean you get to cut them short. It just means they're more likely to accept a fair offer. Doesn't mean they absolutely will. Same thing with retirement. So if you got an old quarterback, you can use the quarterback retirement influence if you want to keep them around. I don't know who would want to, but you could try to do that and hope that they don't retire. But you can do this for player acquisition to try to get free agents. You can do this in player retention to try to get them to re-sign with you, or so they don't retire. And you can also do this right here, which is player regression. So a lot of you guys are wondering, man, how do you guys get these players that are 69 overall, 71, 75 overall and build them like that? Well, number one, we go get the goals that's required. Number two, we spend our weekly training on them. And number three, we get good stats with them. Well, in your weekly training, you can boost how much XP you get from that by using your coach points in whatever category that is, for running back or wide receiver or tight end, offensive line. So you can see I don't really spend a lot of mine on quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end because you control those stats and you can just get really good stats in the game. I try to focus on like offensive line, defensive line, guys you don't really get to use her too much. Anything you want to add about the coaching XP, Pepe?
No, just know how to use it wisely. Like, if you're using coaching XP and you're doing certain goals and you get them and everything, use them towards something you know is going to help your team out. Don't use it towards some dumb shit where it has nothing to do with whatever your game plan is or is going to help you in the future as far as like building your players.
Absolutely. And just because you get the XP doesn't mean you have to blow it. You can save it, and that's what I did with mine because I know next year I'm going to have some young guys that are going to be up for contract. So I'm going to save that XP. Hang on one second, you guys. I'm reading a message in here.
Like I use mine toward offensive line. I'm good as far as getting young, scrubbish, I guess you could say, like bullshit offensive linemen, and literally trying to get them up like 5 to 10 overalls in a year. So I try to focus on that, I guess you could say. But if you want to hold it and see what you need or see what you want to build in the future, then that's cool too.
Yes, and like he was saying, you can wait and save it. Another good tip is, during the regular season when you offer your guys contracts, sometimes you get, I think it's 3 cracks at it, right? So let's say the first offer, you're trying to give a hometown discount out. Let's say you're trying to re-sign Aaron Rodgers, right? And the first offer he says no to, it's not enough. Well, that's your sign that, hey, your contract offer is weak. You might want to go take those XP points, maybe go use that towards quarterback re-sign influence, then go make that next offer to him. So it's kind of good to stack some of this XP just in case. So moving on, we want to do a recap of the postseason from last year. We didn't really get to this last week. I wasn't able to do the podcast on Friday. So Pepe, let's do a quick rundown. We're going to go from wild card week all the way through to the Super Bowl. So in the first week, you had the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Bengals in the wild card round. Jacksonville won that 45-7. You had yourself, Pepe, the Raiders versus the Colts. The Raiders beat you 24-14. What happened there, man?
Good team, man. I never count Danny Boy R out, no matter what time of the year. If it's playoffs, regular season, never count him out. I didn't. I honestly thought I was an underdog in that team. Fuck the overall, fuck the regular season schedule or my record. I honestly thought I was an underdog on that. He has a good team, good user.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know Danny started the season off really, really weak. He was under 500, and he clawed all the way up into the playoffs and knocked you out first round. That was pretty awesome, Pepe.
Yeah, man, I had no problem losing to him. Get a little frustrated losing, but if I'm somebody you can respect and knows the game and everything, you have no problem losing to players like that.
Absolutely. The Browns and the Bills, this one right here was probably the toughest matchup that the Bills had to face. 14-21. The Browns hung in there really close. I know he made a couple of mistakes there towards the end, but apparently the only person in this league that has some sort of answer for the Buffalo Bills is the Cleveland Browns. So Cleveland, I hope you have a really good offseason. I need to see you slow down those Buffalo Bills. The Packers and the Seahawks, I was expecting fireworks in a shootout, and there were fireworks, but they only came from one location, and that was from Green Bay. Seattle, you got to do better, man. You got to do better. You got a lot of X factors. 41-6, can't let that happen. Panthers and Lions, this was the rematch of the earlier game that we had. I think it was like week 15. We were the number 1 and number 2 seed in the NFC, respectively. He beat me. I was able to... Oh, Kendall beat you. Okay, I'm sorry. Kendall's the one that beat the Bills. So Kendall did have a little recipe during the regular season. I forgot. I didn't know if that was a forced win or not. So Bills, the only people that really slowed him down are the Chiefs and the Browns. But moving back on to the Panthers and Lions, he beat me. I'm sorry, that's Panthers and Lions. I'm not Panthers anymore. Wrong league, you guys. I'm sorry. Brain fart, Pepe. Panthers and Lions. The Lions defeated the Panthers 20-10. And then you have myself going up against the Vikings. I do know that the Vikings had beat the Lions a couple of weeks before that. I had to come back there towards the end. I threw a pass. It was 4th down, 20-yard line, like 15 seconds left. And I threw a touchdown to Baby White Dragon Scotty Miller to win this game 31-28. So Vikings almost took me out. Moving on to the divisional round, we had the Raiders and the Chiefs. The Chiefs walked all over the Raiders 41-20. Then you had the Packers and the Eagles. The Eagles got into a good little lead early. The Packers tried to do something to come back, ended up losing 31-21. And then you had the Bills and the Jaguars. I thought that the Jaguars were going to keep it a little bit closer, but the Bills were able to do 35-17 to take that lead. And then you have myself and the Detroit Lions that I was trying to go ahead and jump to in the wild card round breakdown, but this was the rematch of our end-of-season game that we had. 17-14, excellent game, all defense. I know all year he was using a lot of stuff out of the backfield and split shotgun formations, and he had got it with me. He got by with that shit early on in the first game that we played, but I made sure I sold out on that, and I kind of just caught him slipping a little bit. I think I kind of got him up into the corner, but I know he'll be back next year ready to represent his division. Moving on to the conference championships, you had the Bills and the Chiefs. I thought this would be a little bit better, but the Bills pulled away with this one 31-17. And then you had the Eagles and the Buccaneers. The Eagles were up big on me early on. I tried to come back. I kept going for 2. I was able to bring it within to 2 points. Sorry, you guys, my phone's going crazy. I was able to bring it in within 2 points, but I couldn't make anything else happen. I just really couldn't slow down the Eagles. So excellent job with the Eagles, 24-22. And that takes us into the Super Bowl, or lack thereof, Pepe. 70-37 with this Super Bowl as the Bills take out the Eagles. What the hell happened here, man?
Honestly, a couple turnovers at the beginning. Eagles got behind early. Could never capitalize. Bills kept the same energy from the beginning. Kept his foot on his neck, and god damn, 568 total yards of offense. That's ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous. Let me tell you, you guys, the Bills are built for offense and for stopping the deep pass on defense. If you guys got to play him next year, number one, you need a seatbelt and a helmet. The next thing, slow the game down, you guys. If he is going to beat you, So, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. If he is going to beat you, you guys, make sure you at least slow him down. I don't want this guy breaking every single record. I want him to leave a little bit of the pie for the rest of us peons in here. But slow him down, you guys. It's going to be hard for some of you to beat him. I think there's only, I'm going to be honest, I think there's only a handful of teams, about 4 or 5 guys that have a chance of beating him. The rest of you, if you're in his path, just try to slow him down and slow the game down. Don't let him hang up a 50-piece on you and a 60-piece. Slow the game down, run the ball, keep your embarrassment level down as low as possible. So,
well, with that, you still have to eliminate the amount of possessions you give him, because if you eliminate, let's say you're up 7-0 and you took a shit ton of timeout, he's gonna feel like he needs the force to hurry up and score, just change his game plan as far as trying to. He's a score kind of guy, like fast score kind of guy. So if you slow it down, just see what was different as far as him getting many possessions with the rock instead of, you know what I'm saying, like trying to slow the game down and see how he moves as far as like slowing that down instead of trying to play fast up to his tempo. Because if you play up to his tempo, you'll get fucking crushed.
absolutely. He likes to play fast. He likes to sling the ball. This guy loves his stats, and he earns them. He's good at it. So you're going to have to slow that down. I'm not at that skill level, you guys. I am pretty solid. You know, I should be a playoff team each year, but I usually win by just slowing the game down and letting people make mistakes. People get so antsy and mad and caught up in, man, I got to go for stats. I got to throw 8 touchdowns. I got to rush for 6 touchdowns. And they get so focused on that, they lose track of the game. So, you know, just try to make people make mistakes. Put people in bad situations. If you guys are playing one of these powerhouse teams, stop going for it on 4th down. You're just making yourself look stupid. If you guys couldn't get it consistently on 1st down, on 2nd down, on 3rd down, why the fuck are you going for it on 4th down? Come on now.
Like 4th down's gonna be different from the past 3 downs.
You guys are sniffing glue. Come on, like, jeez, you had 3 other chances to do it and you couldn't do it. Come on now, all right? So be smart, all right? Be smart, punt the ball away, make it a little bit harder, play prevent coverage, do something. But I got to give this man his props. I don't think I've ever seen a newcomer to our league come in and dominate the way he has. He came in, he broke the single season passing record for touchdowns. He broke the single season receiving record for receiving touchdowns. Excellent talent. Guy is a mastermind when it comes to the pass game. Excellent as far as coverage as well. He's got tons of interceptions. So I got to give man his props. And he beat the Philadelphia Eagles in alpha male. Alpha male, you know, he usually walks over a lot of people. And I was shocked to see this. But I know, if I know alpha male, I know he's going to be in the lab all off season, and he's going to be coming to try to have a repeat with the Bills here. But I would like to see some other teams step in there to slow him down. I know the Chiefs can do it. Maybe you can. Maybe the Jags. Maybe the Browns. Maybe the Bengals. But somebody in the AFC side has got to step up and slow this guy down. So, moving on real quick, I just want to do a quick team tier list. This isn't Mad Cow's team tiers. This is just a quick one. I kind of took into account who finished where after the playoffs and all that good stuff. So, in tier 1, you're going to have 4 teams. You're going to have the Buffalo Bills, Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The tier 2 teams are going to be mainly your other playoff teams who didn't make it to the conference championship. In order, that's going to be the Lions, Jags, Colts, Packers, Raiders, Seahawks, Bengals, Vikings, Browns, and the Panthers. Tier 3 are teams that were kind of like right there on the cusp of getting into the playoffs as a wild card, or they were just a couple of games away. They won some games here and there, but still ended up below 500 or close to it. You're going to have the Cardinals, 49ers, Washington, the Saints, the Ravens, the Rams, the Falcons, the Chargers, and the Dolphins. And then in tier 4, I'm just going to be honest, you guys, these are the bums, all right? You guys are the hot garbage. I don't know what you guys were doing for this past month and a half, but it definitely was not playing John Madden football, all right? Not sure what you were doing. Don't understand what was going on. I hope it was just a hiccup in your path to greatness. But in tier 4, you have the Houston Texans, the New York Giants, the New York Jets, the Denver Broncos, the Chicago Bears, the Dallas Cowboys, the Tennessee Titans, the Steelers, and the Patriots. We do have a new Patriots user. We have a new Steelers user. We have a new Titans user. We have a new Cowboys user and a new Ravens user. So I look forward to seeing what these guys can do. Hopefully you can get all these really nice teams out of the doghouse and move them up. But I want to go ahead and real quick welcome all the new guys. Anything you want to add to the team tiers, Pepe? I know you probably can't see the graphic right now. Pepe?
Yeah, my bad, bro. My bad. I thought my mic was on. I'm tripping. I'm looking at the graphic right now as we speak.
All good, young man. Any thoughts on the team tiers for the end of the postseason?
I can't really see it right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm pretty sure they're at where they're supposed to be, or they're kind of based off how the season went, based on records. I can't really see it, but I'm pretty sure y'all know what y'all are doing for the most part. Yeah, I'll just go whatever y'all got, honestly.
All right. Moving on. Give me 1 second. Pepe, talk about something for a second. I've got to vote on something in the trade committee. Go ahead and talk about your health or something real quick, young man.
Well, fellas, the season actually went by pretty fast. I don't know how many more seasons. Honestly, the PS5 is gonna come out soon. I don't know how many everybody's getting it or what's going on, or but hopefully everybody this season went by quick. Hopefully we can get about 2, 3, 4, 5 more in, and everybody have fun. I know I can't figure out some fucking commercial shit. I wasn't prepared for this shit, but
That's all right. Hey, we're back. Good job. I had to throw you into the corner. You did good job, man. Breaking down this upcoming draft real quick, you guys. We got a draft coming up tomorrow. Like I said, please jump into the chat and vote on it. If you did not vote on a draft time, do not bitch about what time the draft results in. Even if you did vote, still you don't have my permission to bitch, so I apologize. Just sit there and do as you're told and take it like a man. It's life, all right? If you guys aren't married yet, that's what married life is like. You do what you're told. But on a real note, it's a pretty good draft class. We will be voting for the following year to do the custom draft, which is the college players. We didn't have time to do that earlier in this one. We had already got through the point where you missed to do that. So we will vote on doing that next year. Some people do like that, some people don't, so just be advised with that one. If you're not going to be able to draft, trade your draft picks away or trade your picks away for players, set your draft board. We've talked about that, but it's a pretty solid draft. We broke that down a couple of episodes ago, so if you want to look back through that, we went over the top 10 people in the draft. That's pretty much it, you guys. I know there's a lot of new people that join the league, so at the end of each episode, I try to scroll through the league rules. So you can just pause it here. Here's the gameplay rules. We don't really have any. Only thing is the chew clock feature, so you can't use the chew clock feature just to kind of destroy the game and only have like one possession. We've got general rules, so these are mainly going to be about what your name should be in the chat, stuff like that. So pause this, look at this one. Scheduling rules, we've got scheduling rules. A lot of you still don't understand how to schedule games, and if you don't, then you need to read this. So go ahead and pause this and read how to schedule your games. We also are very strict on our trade rules. I will touch on this one. All trades have to go to the trade committee first before you can send them and accept them in the game. All right? Don't go making trades without the committee approving it first. That's not the way we operate. But here's all the trade rules, and then the people that are in the trade committee, they have to follow these rules. They can't be biased, all that good stuff. They've got 24 hours to vote on a trade, so read through this. Also, position changes. This is probably the thing that we are the most strict about in Madden, because these are game-breaking things. If you take Mike Evans, for example, and I move him to tight end, that's going to break the game. All right, it's going to be absolutely ridiculous. If you go take, like a Jalen Ramsey, and you put him at defensive end, and there's some sort of speed, blitz or some crap like that, you're going to break the game. All right, so please follow these position change rules. On the left, we have all the ones that are allowed, and on the right, these are all the ones that are prohibited. And then at the bottom, there's a legend for what means what. So please read through these, you guys. That's pretty much it. Try to keep this one really quick. Pay attention in the chat. I know you guys have been blowing up your phone this past day or two. I apologize for it, but we've got a lot of stuff to get through. We try to be really democratic with the league, so we don't try to come through and just, say, hey, here's the rules, here's the decision, and force it down your throats. We try to make sure we give everybody a chance to give some input. It still may not be what you want, but we're doing our best to let as many people have a voice. So, we're going to have a lot of interaction in the chat. You can always mute it. Just make sure you check in from time to time. Anything else you want to add, Pepe? I'm going to let you close this thing out. Matrix has been good. Crickets. All right. Well, it seems like
My
Pepe.
bad.
Oh, there he is. There he is. I thought you had
My
already
bad.
logged out, young man.
Nah, man, you know.
You guys, I
kinda lit right
apologize
now,
for
man.
him. I apologize for him. He's going through some
kinda
shit right
lit.
now. He's getting that sex change operation that he had earlier in the season didn't turn out too well. So
Anyway, I'm gonna have some pussy over in a little bit. But look, anyways,
you're gonna play with your pussy in a little
everything.
bit. Well, shit, that
Here we
sounds
go.
like something on Pornhub. You fucking weirdo. Anyways,
I'm gonna have some butt naked hoes over here in a little bit. But look,
Oh.
anyways,
that's cute.
yeah,
I remember when I was a little kid.
our commentary is not rated PG 13.
Damn sure
This
ain't.
shit is all
Oh
uncut raw.
shit. Oh man. Woo. Man, we can get
This
some
shit is
big.
uncut raw.
Man, I'm glad we don't have our actual government names on here. They can come for our asses, dude. All right.
Yeah.
Take it easy, Matrix. If you got any questions, fire at us. We're getting ready to go ahead and advance in a few minutes to free agency. Have at it. Enjoy. Go work on your team. See you, Pepe.
You guys are having dinner or anything right now, make sure you cut on that ass to bed.
All right, y'all. Take it easy.